So when you have camaraderie like that, and you go through Hell Week together, 2 weeks together, and you live in the same place, and you eat, sleep, drink, suffer together, it builds a bond and it builds a camaraderie. There's no longer whites. It's kind of like military when they shave everybody's hair the same, and you go through Hell Week boot camp the same. There's no there's no east side, west side, south side, north side, my race, there's none of that stuff. At the end of the whole thing, you just become one big unit, one big family, one big ohana. And so that's how we did things different. That's not that common unless you're in like military stuff, or some, maybe some businesses might have some rope course or some personal development course class that might have a rope course and trust falls and for businesses. But that's one day, one afternoon, you build some trust, okay. But when you go 2 weeks in and you just all day, every minute of every hour is team. You build bonds really fast. And same thing in military. And eventually these groups become highly skilled, and they highly take care of each other and on and off the field. And so if you're screwing up outside of football, your teammate's going to tell you, and then the teammate's going to definitely hold you accountable. So that's some of the differences that I learned from undefeated teams. Now, how did that influence the way that you build Ohana Connect? When I got out of college, and when I had that much undefeated seasons in my life, and a lot of really, really good things that I don't want to keep saying over here online, but huge successes. Yeah. It built a paradigm in my head of just straight up victory. That's it. Just straight up, I work with the best of the best. I know how to build teams. Each team member around me, you better be the best of the best at what you do, because that's the standard that I hold. If you're around me, I'm gonna be pushing you to become excellence, to ring the bell, way up here, way up here. It also teaches me to be ruthless. My Polynesian fiery blood inside of me is very ruthless when it comes warrior spirit. So when I hit, or I was going to in football, I was going for ending of all careers. I didn't care about your family tree. I didn't care about your sister, your mom. I didn't care about nothing. I cared about ripping your face off and throwing you in an ambulance in a coma and sending you off. It was just ruthless, and that's the paradigm that I grew up with. And when you go undefeated state champs, and you go undefeated seasons in D1 college, and you see everybody going off to the NFL seasons, you just come around, you just walk around with your shoulders up and your head high, because you know what the hell you can do. You know you're a starter. You know you're first chair. You know you're the best. So whenever I took it into trucking or logging, I just found who's the biggest, best guy you got. I'm gonna compete against that, and I'm gonna be the best damn log trucker you got. So you always have this edge, this attitude of competitiveness. I've been through some stuff in undefeated seasons, and other things in my life where I don't believe there's any competition. Not here in rural town Siskiyou County. I believe that I can compete. I believe I'm one of the best at competing at anything, whether it's trucking or stump grinding or building tiny house homes for intergenerational housing, or pushing or politics and city and ordinances. I know I'm going to change all of Mount Shasta. I know I'm going to change the whole entire county, and I know how to build teams. And you're going to become the best of the best. And all of you guys are now seeing that with Ohana Connect. Ohana Connect is gathering all the business owners. I don't know how many members we have now, but we're only 3-4 months old. 10, 15 members. I don't know, probably had 75 people on average throughout, 75 to 100 people that came through already. And we're just talking about Mount Shasta. Eventually, you're going to see me monopolize on all social media platforms countywide. Eventually, you're going to see 100 members, 200 members, 300 members. Eventually, you're going to see 300 tiny homes being built and pushed out to match the income. Eventually, you're going to see families and kids, especially kids, that's going to be able to stay here. You're going to see our elders downsizing into a place where they feel very comfortable. Intergenerational housing is where we're going. I know I can do that because of my past, because of where I came from and the competitive edge that I have. Um, I'm probably on 8 different platforms right now. So every message that you see me on here, it's posted on Nextdoor, my Facebook page, 10 different Facebook groups. I can do 10 more in Reading, 10 more in Oregon, Medford. If I wanted to, push it off on TikTok, Instagram, Thread, LinkedIn, and I know there's one more, but I can't think of it right now. Whatever that is. And combined, if all of them average about 500 views, that's right now we're averaging closer to 3,500 views per video. Times that by about 2 to 3 videos that I post per day, times that by how many weeks there are, and we are averaging over 500,000 views a year, probably closer to 600,000 to 700,000 views, and all of it is targeted for Siskiyou County. It's not 700,000 views 50 states wide. It's only right here on 8 different platforms. And we are putting in new AI efficiencies and marketing systems. And the more cash flow that we get, the more targeted Facebook ads you're going to get, and the more exposure all these businesses and owners are going to be becoming. And so if I could take all the Chamber of Commerces, combine them all together, and make one county-wide networking system, that's where I'm going. And I know I can do it. And I know there's no damn competition, because nobody was trained like me. And so many people thought I would quit after a year. And all they've seen is me get stronger and bigger and better. And now we have land donated, and we have another piece of land coming in. Now we have a nonprofit official 508c1A. Now we have Ohana Connect, the business arm of networking. Now we have the tiny house ordinance that's going back to get re-upgraded with the tiny house president and the manufacturing companies to get that in. We have a lot of things happening because of this undefeated seasons that I've gone through, where victory is the only consciousness that I know. I don't know anything else. I don't know how to fail. I know I have failed a lot, a lot, but that's a good thing, because it just means that I failed more than the average guy here in Siskiyou County 10 times over. And so I learn quickly and fast. I've probably lived 10 lifetimes in this one lifetime. And so all I'm saying is that that undefeated competitive edge that I've gone through in my life has molded me into Ohana Connect is and will be the dominant force of all business owners in Siskiyou County. Together, the business owners are going to donate tax charitable donations to the nonprofit. They're going to get a tax write-off now. That money is going to go to septic water hookups, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 down on donated land that's free. Once we put in the horizontals, you got a single family house and an ADU on the outside that can go county-wide legal right now. Each single family house and an ADU outside, it's going to rent out to 3 different families below market rent, and at the end of the year, it's still going to turn a profit. So we take the profit, we take the tax write-offs from all business owners county-wide, and we get another piece of land donated, and we put another single-family house out there. We rent the house, we rent the garage as a junior ADU, and we rent the ADU on the outside. That's 3 little small families, below market rent, and profitable. And we do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And in the next 10 years, 20 years max, 10 years for sure, there are many, many, many of our elders that's going to be making their graduation and ascension. And they're looking for young people like me and Araya that can manage massive teams and ring the bell of excellence and standards. And guess what's going to happen? All of our elders own half of this county, and they make up about half the population. We have 40,000 in Siskiyou. It's going to drop to around 20,000 in the next 10, 20 years. There's a demographic cliff that is still coming, where our kids will not be able to afford the houses that our elders are being left behind. There's not enough jobs in job creation that pays more than $40,000 on average per individual. That's still the county average. But our houses in the last 10, 20, 30 years has went from 150 to 250 to 350 to 450. And if you're in Mount Shasta, it's 550. Guess where that's going to be in 10 years from now, 20 years from now. So the demographic cliff is an awareness that our elders will be making their graduation and ascension. They own half the farmlands, they own half of main streets of every commerce and city and county, and they own and their kids are in some major city somewhere if they have any kids. And they don't want to, they want to will over their assets, their cash flowing businesses, their farmlands, their all these things to their kids, and that's their plan. But the truth is that your kids live in some major city in Sacramento somewhere, Phoenix, Arizona somewhere, Washington, or Seattle somewhere, and they just don't want to come back to Cowland, USA, Siskiyou County. So the more logical thing is they're gonna liquidate. They're gonna get attorneys. They're gonna liquidate. And if they're trying to liquidate a $550,000 house in Mount Shasta or any other farmland that's like that, and it's outside the price range of the average local family, what's going to happen? Developers and Airbnb systems are going to come in and buy it up. Why? Because the average family down south that's retiring right now can sell their house for $4, $5, $6 million, come up here and buy 6 houses, live in one, $250,000 in their bank account, small investments, and own 5 other ones for cash flow. That's the truth. That's why we were trying to help Dunsmuir pass that 7.5% Airbnb cap. That's why Mount Shasta has a 3% cap. That's why Mount Shasta is pushing a vacancy tax that Weed and Wairika are going to follow. That's why Mount Shasta is putting a tiny house ordinance in place, and we're going back to the planning to upgrade the ordinance to make it stronger and stronger so that the next city can pick it up cleaner and faster, which is anti-Airbnb systems. You can't do dailies on tiny houses on wheels. I'm going off on a little tangent, but I'm just saying that that mentality of being on Undefeated Seasons with Undefeated, the best of the best. Everyone was D1 college. Everyone was going to NFLs. It changes the way you think. And in small town, Little Siskiyou County, anyone that has come against me in the last year and a half, and thought that I was going to quit, all you've seen is me get stronger. And if you give me 1 more year, and you give me 2 years, and you give me 5 years, and you give me 10 years, you give me 20 years and 30 years, today's Area's birthday, and next month is my birthday, and I'm only turning 40. 40. So everybody that's been anti and against everything that we stand for multi-generational success and thriving community economics, in 10 years from now, I'll only be 50, and where will you be? 10 years after that, I'll only be 60. I won't even retire. I'm 60. Where will you be? Everybody that talks smacked about me being on video so much, 10 years from now, where will you be? You'll still be doing what you're doing. Still thinking the way you think, still speaking the way you speak, still in the same economic demographics that you are. But I won't. And so that's the truth.